So thank you so much, Wani, in Moving Cultures. Whenever we have social media activations like our 5 for 5 challenge or what we do for breast cancer awareness, Wani and in Moving Cultures always come through, and we are really appreciate their support. So thank you so much to all the friends of Wani who have partnered with us. Some of you I don't know personally, but I see your posts. Thank you so much. Asante sana. And of course to each and every one of you, karibuni. Thank you.
Thank you. As Cindy mentioned it, all the activities we do have to do with the collective. So all of you have made possible also to have this beautiful terrace over there. Thanks to the Still Other 2 years continued campaign, when Moving Culture have reached 500 images with your photos, and we managed to reach $10,000 and $5,000 each year. And thanks to each one of you, and the money was coming straight to Faraja from the Still Other. So all our friends who are actually connected now, who are part of this campaign, thank you. And we are saying thank you from Kenya, because you always are present, it doesn't matter where in the world, saying yes without knowing where is this money going to. They say that we're getting $10 for each photo. So this is the place. And there is a beautiful terrace that we will take photos so you can see where money has been allocated. So trust us, the way we trust your capacity to love others. So now I'm going to, we're going to welcome our first speaker of the afternoon. As you know, we are having an exchange of knowledge with very exciting people. Some of them will be trained, giving us a 7-minute talk. But I'm also going to take the opportunity, like we did with Fesi, to hear the story of some of the other members who are here. And that first member who's going to come forward before we have the presentation of our guest is Kiarie. Kiarie, please come forward and very quickly let the people know. Stand here and let the people know who you are and what you do.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
My name is Charity Nduta Kiarie. Kiarie is my surname, so I use the surname because it has a very huge meaning. It means something big and wide. So on Facebook, on Instagram, you can find me Kiarie Afrika. And the reason why I'm here is because me and Wani met still on Facebook and became very good friends when my daughter was about 2 years old. And what I do is that I have tried to motivate the African woman mostly to be comfortable in her own skin, to be comfortable in her own roots. And so I try to do that using fashion and style. I mean, don't I look very beautiful today? Yes, I love to look like this. I look like this, and on outside there, the table there, that's my creation. And I want the African woman and the black woman to appreciate who they are, and not just the African woman and the black woman, but women all over the world. So I decided, why don't I just take this opportunity and create a movement so that when a little girl outside there, whether in Kibera or in town, when they see me, they're like, oh, so it is okay to be black and beautiful. So it is okay to dress in your, in your bold dresses, in your bold earrings. It's very okay to do that. And not just that, knowing yourself and knowing your roots, because it's very important to know your roots. Because if you don't know your roots, then you're also not going to know your future. So I decided to do that, and Wani has been with me. We've had an interview with her via Zoom, and I'm so grateful to be here. And thank you so much, Wani, for what you're doing. And for everyone outside here today, thank you so much. And when you get a chance, please visit my table. You might get a gift, 1 or 2. You might buy your wife or your girlfriend or your daughter something. So thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here. Nedayo.
Thank you, Kiarie. Our first key speaker of this afternoon and exchange of knowledge is Madhvi Dalal. She's from Kenya. She is the CEO of Padmad, raising awareness and eliminating period poverty in Kenya. And she is also the owner of a social enterprise that produces reusable sanitary pads. So let's welcome Madhvi.
Thank you, Wadi. Yeah, I'm Madhvi, I'm from Padmad. And yeah, it's so good. Only Wani can bring us all together. Even we live in 254, only Wani from Thailand can bring us here. So thank you, Wani. Yeah, before I begin, just to publicly say that the reason why I am where I am is possibly only because of Wani and the support and her push, because of her encouragement. I was just telling the story earlier today. There was a point when I moved to Kenya and I was a bit lost, and I was speaking to Wani and she just told me in simple words, Madhvi, stop complaining, do something about it. And so that kind of got me going. So now we have a social enterprise called Padmad. We started off with an idealistic view to help girls, because I kind of tried to understand what period poverty really meant in Kenya. Why do we have period poverty? What does it look like? How bad is it? Who suffers from it? And how do we define it? So I traveled a little bit through Kenya trying to figure out all these answers by myself. And I was documenting in a place here in one of the slums in Nairobi. And we were just asking all the girls, how do you find this? What's going on?
Continue.
Yes. So, for me? Yes. Too much? Okay, so I was asking one of the girls, we had some girls prepared for all the interviews. I was asking one of the girls, so where do you get your pads from? And she said, here. So I said, no, I don't think you get it from here, because we give you unga and all these things. You know, I don't think the orphanage can actually afford sanitary towels. And because she was speaking Kiswahili and I wanted to make sure this is authentic and it's good for documentation, I told her, okay, walk me through this. And it was really humble orphanage, and she walked me through it, trying to make me understand that she used to give sexual favors to one of the teachers there. And not only was she giving sexual favors, she ended the conversation saying that depending on the quality of sex, she'd get 1 or 2 packs. So I remember how I felt when I heard that story, but she goes through it month on month. And that's when I thought, well, something needs to be done here. What I did know was I didn't really want to hand out disposable pads, only because of the environmental issue, logistic issue, and many other things like rashes, etc. So we started a project where we started training girls and boys in schools. I used to go with cotton thread with my family, with my friends, hoping they'd make enough for themselves and for their parents, for their mums. That didn't really work out well. So then I started training the mums in the communities to say, okay, go and make these and make your own cooperative or your enterprise. Unfortunately, that didn't really work either, although it was a lot of energy, because we were very concerned about the quality and, you know, the resources that they were ending up using. So, because I come from a science background, I was very sure that I didn't want to end up with a bigger problem than we first started with. So now what we do is, we have now a final project, which is where we empower marginalized women. So by marginalized, I mean HIV positive, widows. Now we work with clients in prisons, abused women, who actually make these pads. The key of what we do, we work with pillars on education, so obviously allowing and making sure girls can carry on going to school, but also educating boys and bringing communities together to be able to talk about this subject quite openly in a safe space. The other thing is what we do is empower women who are not usually employed to be employed and to become financially stable by themselves. Environment is a big thing that we work on, because disposable pads, one disposable pad takes 500 to 800 years to decompose. In Samburu, the girls put their disposable pads down the anthills. In Kibera, they put them they're called flying pads, they just fling them and it lands on somebody's head or somebody's front door. Yeah, there's no garbage collection exactly. Or they put down the pit latrines in school, which clogs the whole wash system. So environment is a big thing. Our pads are biodegradable. The other one is economic. Obviously, they're longer lasting. They last longer than 5 years. so that we're trying to ensure that once we visit a community, we don't actually have to go back. The girl can go to secondary and tertiary education without much, going to ask for money within their parents or their social systems to just get pads. And the last one is health. We try and stick to eco-friendly, without toxins. Disposable pads have something called dioxin, which sometimes causes rash or cracks. So we're trying to keep it very healthy. And yeah, so now we have a product. Well, we have a few products which we give out with the education on menstrual health management and also SRHR. And that's what we do.
Thank you very much,
Madhvi.
This is the kit. This is what we've developed.
Please, can you show it to
Yeah.
So what's in it? You want to open it? On the meantime, while Madhvi is giving us a show of the product, we're going to welcome the guests who just arrived. We have Faith here. She's a nurse. And she was one of my classmates at the German school at the Goethe Institute. And she has been very strongly connected to the community, especially during COVID time. She was one of our champions in the hospital. So please a big round of applause for her. Then we have our dear friend Amy McKelvey. She is the principal of Woodland Star School. That is an international school with very strong academic, creative art curriculum and inclusion patterns. And I'm going to ask very quickly to Amy to come here just to introduce the school, please. I leave you with the live audience also.
Hello everyone, I feel so honored to be here. I would love to hear all of your stories. I know that you're doing amazing work. And I would just like to say that I'm so thankful to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And I feel that I'm among greats. So I'd like to just say that Woodland Star is a school that was started 10 years ago. And with the idea that there should be a different way of education that's more life-affirming, that's more inclusive, that is child-centered, that is active, that considers that each person is valuable and has gifts and hidden potential. So we have started our school and we've been here 10 years. We're very inclusive. We were really the first international school to accept children with significant learning, processing delays or needs, intervention needs. We do have a very strong association with the arts because we believe that the arts are what make us human, and that is how we met Lonnie and Roland, and with a partnership there to bring in more exposure, more learning, more life-affirming experience with the arts. We're also very hands-on, very sustainable, so we are located on a campus in Tigoni, and we're in the middle of a botanic garden in Forest. And I see some other people that I recognize. Fezzi. Fezzi's students have performed with us, and we are grateful. And we hope for more partnership with other people who are working towards the same aims of life affirmation, equality, inclusiveness, the arts, and hands-on experiences for children. Thank you.
Amy, please talk about Brackenhurst because there is a lot of people here who usually requires spaces for conferences.
We're on the conference. We're on the same campus as a center named Brackenhurst, and Brackenhurst is a very interesting place. It's an old place, but should you visit, you would be struck with the nature and the natural surroundings. It's a very accommodating place because we have accommodations. And also food, but it's part of sustainability. What I mean is we're over 20 years into a longitudinal study to reclaim degraded land.